Now we are starting the demonstration of Scholarsys online ERP. Once the desktop version is installed on your client machine, you will be getting a shortcut of this kind. When you click on the shortcut, you get the software login screen opened in front of you. Like this, every user will have to put their login ID and password. Once the password is put, then click on login. The software operational interface will be opened. Now, every user who has to access the software has to have a user ID and password. And we have got a wonderful interface to manage the user. This is for the administrator to create users, user groups, and defining the permissions to different groups and users under different groups. Now, if I say if there is a group called cashier, the cashier's permissions, if I show you, you can see some certain reports are assigned permitted to this particular user, and now this user has got the permission for making receipts and refunds. You can see here it is limited to only adding new receipts or refunds. This user is not given unless this user is given permission like this to add or modify. Cashiers won't be, this particular user under this group won't be able to modify or delete any receipts and refunds. If to restrict the deletion of the refunds, administrator can just uncheck here, and even they can define how long it should be accessible. Like, see, now after 1 hour or after half an hour, if this user should not be allowed to modify a receipt which is created, administrator can define the open hour also, so the user won't be able to modify the receipts which is already created after that. Now, if it is a new user creation, then you can put the user's name, username 1. Login ID is also going to username 1. I am just defining it like that. Then the password, whatever is the password to be run, we type the password and add the user. So the user is created, and when this password is given to the user can log in. And when this user is logged in, it will be, this user will be allowed to only view receipt and refund, create and modify according to the permissions defined by the users. So this is about how the administrators manage users. Now here you can see that how simply and how user friendly this window is to, if the administrator wants to define permissions for all those options, you can just drag here, select multiple windows from here and check or uncheck all of them if you just wanted to remove the permission for deleting, or so that this way you can select. And so it is just to explain how user friendly the things are here. Other than that, now this administrator wish to have the user under this particular group, when they log in, they want the receipt or rebate register to be opened by default. So the rebate register, if I check on the auto load option, when this user is logged in with the user and password, now you can see this task manager window is by default it is coming. It is just because the administrator has given permission to this particular user to auto load the task manager. That's why the task manager is getting loaded by default. So this way administrator can define what all are the things to be auto loaded if any particular window for the cashier. Like the administrator can define like the receipt and the refund window to be automatically loaded, so that every time he doesn't want to go to the options and the accessories. So this is just how administrators manage the users and how the managed users are assigned to the permissions and how easy it is to be managed. Once the if an employee is left or the administrator wanted to restrict a user from accessing the software, he can put a period like after 31st of March or April, if this particular user should not be allowed to log into the software, he can define it like that. So this way, the users can be managed by the administrator.